David Menzies for Rebel News here in downtown Toronto. Now, folks, earlier this week, the Trudeau Liberals tabled Bill C-63, aka an act to enact the Online Harms Act. Now, the bill's being bandied about as a means of protecting Canadians, especially those venturing onto the World Wide Web. But as always, the devil is in the details, isn't it? And the fact of the matter is, Bill C-63 is the most censorious piece of legislation ever to be introduced in the entire Western world. For example, this censorship law seeks to destroy our very thoughts, freedom of the press, freedom of expression, and it will make a mockery out of the rule of law. So-called victims of hate speech, well, they could be compensated up to $20,000 with standalone hate crimes being added to the criminal code. And the federal government would be owed an additional $50,000, like a Ticketmaster service charge or something.
But I want to be crystal clear about what the Online Harms Act does not do. It does not undermine freedom of speech. It enhances free expression by empowering all people to safely participate in online debate.
As well, those who engage in so-called hate speech might be forced to wear an electronic monitoring bracelet, and they could face several years in jail. Bottom line, under the Justin Trudeau Liberals, words are being criminalized. Thoughts are being criminalized.
And that's why we're moving forward with online harms legislation that will be introduced soon in the House and that will be robustly debated. Because I think it's something that all Canadians count on, that governments do what they need to keep all of our kids safe.
So let's venture out here at Yonge Dundas Square while it's still called Yonge Dundas Square. The cancel culture mob is coming for this place in the months ahead. And let's try to find out what Torontonians think about Bill C-63. So we're talking about Vladimir Putin's new hate speech law, which can put people under house arrest just on the suspicion that they might say something hateful in the future. What do you think about that?
I think that's wrong.
Okay.
And I mean, we're lucky enough to live in a country where we have freedom of speech.
Yes.
It'd be nice to think that they could do the same.
That's horrible. I come from Cuba, so no, I disagree.
Okay.
I totally disagree.
Oh, damn. I don't really keep up with politics. I don't even know. But what? He's limiting free speech or just hate talk?
I think it's kind of awful for the people maybe living there that they have to be put under that kind of pressure where, you know, what they say may put them away.
How can you judge it if it did not happen yet?
Yes.
So how are you going to measure? How are you going to measure it?
You might go to jail.
You mentioned Putin. I thought it was our leader from Canada.
You know what, sir?
Doctorian.
You caught me in my little trick, because not many people are aware of Bill C-63, but you are absolutely right.
We all know about Justin Trudeau around here.
Like, that's a bad thing, and I think that that's kind of unfair, but at the same time, I'm grateful for that I'm here in Canada. You know, I have a freedom of speech in some sort, and I mean, all I can do is kind of just wish for them to have the best, because I mean, like, that just kind of sucks. I mean,
Well, sir, I have to be full disclosure here. I was kind of pulling your leg. That's not a Vladimir Putin law.
Okay.
This is what the Justin Trudeau Liberals are suggesting. Earlier this week, they tabled Bill C-63. It's not law yet, but that's what they are proposing. You mentioned you're grateful to live in a country with freedom of speech. This sounds pretty censorious to me.
so can you define what laws are implemented in, like, because I don't really understand what you're trying to tell me right now.
It's not a Russian law. It's a Canadian proposed law. What do you think of that?
I don't think much about Justin Trudeau, so I have no comment.
That's really crazy. That's illegal. That should be illegal. It should not pass. Because we should have what happened to our free speech.
We need to do a better job as a society keeping kids safe online.
I was pulling your leg. That wasn't a Vladimir Putin suggestion. That was what was tabled in the House of Commons earlier this week, Bill C-63.
Oh, yeah, he needs to go. He needs to go. Like, I was born in Havana, Cuba. My dad escaped Cuba in 1980 for us to have a better life, you know what I mean? And now I feel like Justin Trudeau is kind of like a dictator.
They want to criminalize words and thoughts. What do you feel about that?
Well, you know, I can see their point of view once, and scarily. I mean, there has to be some controls. If 13-year-old girls are committing suicide, I think it's time to rein it in a bit.
And I think that's just one reason more for maybe someone to vote for the Liberal Party or not for the Liberal Party. So
I don't know what to say, but I don't see how you're going to measure it.
Absolutely ridiculous that we don't even know what the hate speech is going to be. Like, who decides what's hate and what's not? Hey, you're a jerk. You're a jerk.
I hate strawberry.
Prison for life?
I think it's wrong. I think, we have to be able to respect everyone. And the wonderful thing about Canada is we have people that come from all different countries. And I think that's the beauty of who we are and what we do. And I just hate to see him change things for the worse. It promotes problems.
Freedom of speech is important. It's important, right?
Yeah.
But you also gotta limit the hate speech, right? But like as you said, man, where does it become like you're restricted? You know what I mean? It's a fine balance. I don't know, but hopefully they figure it out, right?
Freedom of speech is one thing, but you can't. I mean, like, you can't hide pedophilia and, like, some of the sick stuff that's going on out there.
This is the most censorious legislation that's ever been tabled anywhere in the Western world. Why do you think Justin Trudeau is doing this?
Well, because I think he's a puppet, if I can say that, because I think strings have been pulled, right?
You're handing out information about Islam and the Quran.
Yeah.
So in theory, if this becomes a law, somebody might make an anonymous complaint, that's another part of the law, saying this is hateful, and therefore you're going to be prosecuted. Do you think that's fair?
It's not fair, because we have peaceful literature, and Quran is a peaceful book, and Islam is a peaceful religion.
Sir, I can't help but notice these are pamphlets about Christianity.
Yes.
In theory, what if, say, an atheist doesn't like what you're preaching? They can make an anonymous complaint about you. You're on the hook for up to $20,000 fine, plus a surcharge to the government of $50,000. Just for, I don't know, preaching what you believe in.
If that's what it comes to, that's what it comes to. We still have to preach the gospel.
Do you think maybe the unspoken strategy is the Trudeau Liberals want to shut down criticism of the government as being hateful when the next election is called?
Absolutely. They're just trying to do everything to keep their claws in things, and that's where we're at, unfortunately.
Keeping them safe from child sexual exploitation, from bullying, from the kinds of mental health distress that far too many of our young people are going through.
It's something for them to stay in power as long as they can, right? Because if anybody goes against them, obviously, right, they're going to be shut down, just like Putin, right?
There's sort of like an agenda behind everything, so
He's going to win, probably trying to quiet us out so we can't criticize how bad his government is.
if someone does something poorly online and there's a large group of people that are taking offense to it, then yeah, like that should be taken to account. And I mean, at the same time, people just kind of need to like understand that not everyone's going to agree with them.
You don't even get to know who your accuser is.
Yeah, I have no words right now. We just need to get rid of Justin Trudeau at this moment and get the country moving forward.
Do you think Justin Trudeau should be charged under this act for the number of times he's worn blackface, given that it's a retroactive law?
Well, he's easy to hate. Do I hate Justin Trudeau? No, he's a spoiled rich kid. I mean,
well, be careful. That might be considered hateful.
He's like a prince, like really like the first president of Quebec. I'm thinking, run for president of Quebec.
Look at the number of times he's used blackface.
100%. Yeah, 100%, sir.
Or is it one law for thee and one law for me?
You know how it works, right? So
how are we going to get better without criticism? And I think that's a big part of people not understanding the difference between hate speech and constructive criticism, but at the same time, you know, you need to be told if you're doing